Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The overland track will remain off limits for at least 2 more weeks as Parks and Wildlife struggle to gain access to assess damage. Rainfall tonight is expected to do little to extinguish multiple blazes across the state, with more severe conditions expected next week.
After more than a week playing whack-a-mole with blazes in remote bushland, firefighters have seized their chance to bring many of them under control. 20,000 hectares has so far been scorched.
Some of that has been from proactive backburning that commenced yesterday and went on into the evening last night. We're still looking to see what percentage of success has come out of those backburning operations.
Smoke from fires burning on the west coast could impact residents as far as Devonport, with 19 still being battled, including one which was spotted in the remote southwest last night.
This fire's originated out of the lightning band that went through that area 5 days ago. Pleasingly, we had a remote camera in that area that was able to detect the fire early.
The overland track will stay closed for at least 2 more weeks. Safety cannot be guaranteed and the full extent of damage is still unknown. Hikers are currently being contacted with the bad news, but are being encouraged not to cancel their trips entirely.
The rest of Tasmania is open. There are alternatives. All of our key national parks and visitor centres are open, so we encourage people still to travel and enjoy Tasmania.
Rain in parts of the state tonight may provide some relief, but will do little to quench the fires that are already burning, with a warning of more hot weather on the way.
Next cold front that might bring some rainfall. It's not looking likely until next Friday at the earliest. Before it arrives though, we're likely to see an increase in northerly winds and hotter temperatures, elevated fire dangers.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, the opposition has attacked the state government for its $1 million cash splash for local businesses. Labor describing the funding as reckless spending amid serious concerns about the state of Tasmania's finances.
Certainty, predictability and strong budget management. That's what gives businesses confidence in the economy.
But the Premier insists it's the right move.
These are well targeted and helpful investments to make to encourage people to grow their businesses and employ more people.
Grants of up to $10,000 were announced for several businesses in the latest round of funding. Alternative art scenes around the world continue to struggle, but one of Tasmania's most loved music festivals is back for its biggest year yet. Featuring dozens of artists from home and overseas, Party in the Paddock isn't letting tough times dampen the good ones.
Kicking up the dust at Quercus Park. Almost 13,000 partygoers cramming in for a weekend of sounds and celebration.
Night one was good, I already lost my voice.
A lineup packed with local and global talent.
The Rubens? Oliver Tree, role model, Empire of the Sun, I guess.
Yeah, Empire of the Sun. Probably King Stingray, I reckon. I'm really into them.
The lineup, 50% Tasmanian artists, like Hobart indie rockers Middle Palms.
Unreal to be playing on the big stage, seeing how big it is.
An alternative outfit, Holiday Mystics, making a stopover in Tassie on their national tour.
Festivals are more fun, I think. Like more energy, bigger crowds.
Both bands growing up at Party in the Paddock, but this time around, they're swapping the crowd for the stage.
Every year we've kind of hoped sometime that we'll be playing on any stage really.
Well, it's been a tough time for live music and the arts everywhere.
Which is sad, and it shouldn't be that way. It's so important to culture and it's so important to young community.
Organisers are proud the gates to this party are still open.
Definitely seeing a little spike in ticket sales across the board.
With something on offer for all ages.
Kids are sprouting up everywhere, which is great to see, but we have 60 to 80-year-olds coming as well that love music.
Despite being at the tail end of a heat wave, no one here is ready to burn out yet.
Tonight's going to be pretty dangerous, I reckon.
The vibes, the mad vibes. It's going to be sick.
I'll be safe, Mum, I promise.
There are no temperatures that will ruin this party. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, stopped on the tracks while waiting at a give way sign, the driver of this red SUV is seemingly unaware a freight train is barrelling towards them at a level crossing in Penguin. The car moves just in time, narrowly avoiding a collision. It's one of 14 near misses reported by Tasrail drivers in the second half of last year. The government has announced it will introduce reforms to tighten the appeals process for planning decisions in a bid to fast-track more development in Tasmania. The legislation will only allow people directly affected by a project to lodge an appeal against it through the State Civil and Administrative Tribunal. The Premier says it will ensure Tasmania can attract more growth.
We want fairness for those that want to invest and develop in Tasmania, and we want fairness for those that are directly affected by a potential development.
But the Greens say it's another example of poor planning policy by the Liberals.
It's Felix Ellis taking his wrecking ball to planning processes, and we shouldn't allow for this to occur.
State Parliament resumes in March. The world's best mountain bike riders have descended on a small Tasmanian town for one of the most extreme competitions on the planet. From flips to massive jumps, racers put on a spectacle, with the event securing funding to run again next year.
It's the downhill mountain biking extravaganza that took Tasmania by storm last year. The Medina Hardline back for a second year bigger and better.
This is really designed to just show people what is possible when we're allowed to do it.
Attracting dozens of the world's best racers for 2 days of competition, hitting speeds of more than 70 kilometres an hour and massive jumps. The pros making it look easy, but it's no walk in the park, considered more extreme than the World Cup Series.
Yeah, I'm getting on okay. Still, the heart rate is pretty high every single run.
Organisers going all out in preparing the technical 2.8 kilometre track.
The physical man hours to build these jumps. There is hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tonnes of dirt in these jumps here.
Rising star Gracie Hemstreet among the youngest riders in the competition, helping pave the way for more women to break into the sport.
When I was growing up watching racing, there was about 6 of them, and now there's about 40 of us in the elite categories.
Leaving her mark on the next generation of mountain biking enthusiasts.
When we were watching her last year, it was just so cool to see her complete the course, and it's just such a big moment.
The state government announcing further funding to keep the event going for another year.
What we see is, the on-island spend. We see a 4.5 to 5 to 1 ratio in terms of money that we invest.
Qualifying wraps up today, with the official race getting underway tomorrow. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Teenage offenders are being targeted in a new police operation cracking down on retail theft and antisocial behaviour across Hobart. A group of dedicated officers has been recruited into the new task force, which will hit the ground on Monday. Police say repeat offenders typically target expensive goods later sold on social media.
Officers will be in possession of electronic wands, and we will use those as well to search people in public places, especially people who have come to our attention.
The operation will run for 6 weeks. The Southern Hemisphere's largest celebration of traditional maritime has dropped anchor in Tasmanian waters. Thousands of boat enthusiasts from across the world have been treated to a fleet of vessels at the 15th Australian Wooden Boat Festival.
A bustling River Derwent bursting with boaties.
Just love boats and come down every 2 years.
What do you think of all the boats?
Awesome.
The Australian Wooden Boat Festival hitting our waters for another year. A parade of sail featuring 11 tall ships gracing Hobart's waters, marking the official launch of the event.
Tall ships coming from Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne, Devonport, and of course Hobart.
The festivities reeling in maritime lovers from far and wide.
Bring 60,000 visitors over the course of the next few days. 15,000 of those will be from interstate and indeed internationally.
A calendar highlight for the tourism industry.
Huge amount of people that are coming to our shores experiencing Hobart, but we're also hoping that they're going to experience our regions as well.
Feasting their eyes on vessels large and small.
Artisans these guys are. Bambino timber is very special.
This year's fleet taking a deep dive into maritime traditions from the Pacific.
We can't really adequately tell the story of our own maritime history without bringing in the stories and heritage of those around us.
While a festival highlight will be the historic rematch between 2 classic yachts, Nataki and Terrapunga. Both were part of the first Trans-Tasman race in 1934.
For the first time in 90 years, we've got them back together for a face-off on the Derwent tomorrow.
Rebecca Gaidenera, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania has been named Australia's healthiest place to live in a new study. Monash University's latest health index examined factors like air quality, temperature, population density and access to green spaces. Researchers then compared it to mortality data to compile their list. Hobart edged ahead of Melbourne to take out the title of Australia's healthiest capital, while Darwin and the Northern Territory were at the bottom of the list.
NBA talent scouts must be paying attention to Tassie's Taryn Armstrong, putting on a show with a rare triple-double for the Taipans in their 22-point win over the Bullets, the first NBL player to do so this season. His 28 points, 10 rebounds and 10 assists would have been terrifying viewing for the down-on-their-luck Jackies, who have to host Cairns at MyState Bank Arena tomorrow.
I have a lot of tickets for that and I'll have a lot of people there, so love playing down there. Be another good game. I'm playing basketball at home in front of people I love is really cool.
On a 6-game losing streak, a huge win tomorrow would still propel Tasmania into the playoffs if the 36ers lose big to the Wildcats tonight. It may need some divine intervention there. Jeff Vaughan is confident the Tigers can climb up the Shield standings and qualify for the final as first-class cricket resumes with a Scott Mason memorial match against Victoria tomorrow.
We played some really good cricket before the Big Bash break. We won some games, we were incredibly close in a couple of other games. We feel as though we've got a great depth of team, that our captain has a lot of options in the field.
He's down a few stars though. Mitch Owen still returning from South Africa, while Beau Webster and Matt Kuhnemann are in Gaul. Kuhnemann taking 2 Sri Lankan wickets overnight, but the Tassie coach is hoping Tim Ward will bring the magic again after his 142-run knock in their previous Shield match. And Hobart teen Alicia Dale is through to tomorrow's Launceston Junior International Final, beating Gold Coaster Tori Russell in straight sets 6-2, 6-love in this morning's girls semi, the only Tasmanian to make it through to a decider.
It's great to see people coming out and supporting me, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that these people actually want to watch me play. So yeah, it's really nice actually to have tournaments like this down here.
She'll face top seed South Australian Sarah Mildren in the final tomorrow. Alicia came off second best when they last played in the Burnie Junior final last week. Good crowd might make all the difference though, Kim, so if you're around Launceston tomorrow, get to the tennis centre and cheer her on.
Very good idea. Thanks, Nick. Well, we're off to a break and then Kaya will have the weekend weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart 21 today, another warm one in Launceston 33, 25 at Devonport and 28 recorded at Burnie. 30 at Flinders Island, Bushy Park and Low Head 26, 25 at St Helens and Smithton, Friendly Beaches 24, 23 on King Island, Grove, Lyweni and Strawn all 22 and 21 on Maria Island. Areas of low and middle level cloud were seen over the state. Now some of that cleared in the west this afternoon. Extensive areas of cloud and thunderstorms continue across much of northern Australia as a cold front approaches Tasmania from the southwest. Tomorrow a high sits to the south of the Bight, extending a ridge to the south of the island and also directing a cooler southeasterly airstream across the state. South to southeasterly winds tomorrow 15 to 20 knots, reaching upward of 30 knots about the west and northeast. Southwesterly swell sit at around 3 metres. There is a strong wind warning tomorrow for coastal waters between Low Rocky Point to St Helens Point. A cloudy day in Hobart tomorrow, 18 at the top. Possible morning showers at Medina, 20. A possible shower too for Oatlands with 19 there. Launceston cooling down a little, cloudy, 23. Much the same at Devonport, 22. 5 overnight at Lyweni with 15 the high tomorrow. Maybe a couple of showers for Burnie and Marrawar, 21, 22 and partly cloudy in Strawn. A mix of wet and cloudy conditions for the east, St Helens, Swansea and Alford, all 19 degrees. Forecast now for Sunday, cloudy about the east and southeast with possible light showers, but mostly sunny skies elsewhere. Cloudy conditions remain about the east and southeast on Monday with possible showers continuing, and the forecast remains much the same on Tuesday. And as we welcome the weekend, here's what we can expect across the country tomorrow. Possible storms for Darwin and Canberra, 35 in Perth and Broome, 29 and late showers in Sydney. Cloudy across the state right now. Hobart 17 degrees, Launceston 23 and 23 also at Devonport. A much cooler weekend on the way, Kim.
Sounds like it. Thanks, Kaya. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this week. Good night.